So, I am Jason Guyman,
I'm Jody Gaiman. We're
and
married.
we are married. And we're going to talk to you about tonight about how to live in the same house with your kids and nothing to do.
All the time.
Or,
We're doing this because right now COVID-19 is going on. But this really applies whether it's spring break, winter break, summer break, snow day, any reason that you are suddenly home with your family
all the time.
all the time. So I think the first thing that I want to say is to give yourself a break and give the rest of your family a break. Give your kids and your spouse a little bit of space and a little bit of grace, because this is something that you're not used to. And that's what I've come to realize. I see every year, we see traditionally schooled parents of traditionally schooled children complain about winter break or whatever. And they're like, oh my gosh, the kids stress me out. And I've come to realize over the years that it's not about having them home all the time. You are not stressing out because your kids are home all the time. You are not stressing out because your spouse is suddenly working from home or you are suddenly working from home. You are stressed out and people are at each other's throats and nitpicking and all that. And if they're not now, they probably will be at some point. The reason it's so stressful is because it's a change to your routine. And in this case, it's a sudden change. And even if it's planned, like winter break or spring break, it's still a very sudden change to your routine. And that is what causes the stress and the tension. And that it's not, oh my gosh, my kids are home. This is so stressful and so awful. It's, oh my gosh, our routine has changed and none of us are prepared for it. So again, give yourself a little bit of grace and a little bit of space as you're going through this, and give yourself a break and give your family a break. And I would say that is my number one piece of advice, is just kind of breathe.
And this isn't easy even for us. We homeschool, and you think, oh, you homeschool, you must be home all the time. Well, just to put in perspective, I mean, I'm not, I'm home every third day I'm gone, so that's part of it. But we have homeschool co-op 2 days a week. Jody does, and the kids. We had soccer 2 nights a week on the weekend, all that kind of stuff, and it is all
gone. So I did a little, as preparing for this, I kind of went through our calendar, and so during soccer season, we are gone 5 to 7 times a week out of the house. A lot of times it's 7 times a week, 7 days a week that we are not at home. Even outside of soccer season, it tends to be anywhere from 4 to 6 times a week, depending on what we're doing. And like you mentioned, this year we're doing 2 homeschool co-ops. And then Wednesday, we have several other classes that I run the kids to. Thursday is usually an errand day. Sunday's church. So just because we homeschool doesn't mean that we're home. In fact, most homeschoolers that I know aren't home very much. So this is, it might not be quite as much of a change for people compared to people who traditionally school their children, but it's a big change for us too. And my kids are definitely feeling it. And
we had Meltdown. We actually went out to eat. I know we went out to eat on Sunday or Saturday before they
hadn't closed them. We didn't know.
Well, before they locked down the restaurants.
Yeah.
And they, Jill was just melting down. She was just melting down because they taken everything away from her. They're taking, and she don't understand that.
She doesn't understand at all. And then, what day was it? It was like the next day we were driving home from somewhere. I don't remember where. And it was just me and her in the car. And she started crying. Oh, yeah, we went out on Friday. Yeah. It wasn't Sunday. We went out on Friday. And Saturday we were driving home and she just started crying in the car, just crying. And she goes, Mom, I miss my friends and I don't get to do anything. And she goes, everything's changing and I don't like this sickness. And I'm like, I don't either, honey. But she's 5 and she has no way to comprehend it. So especially for those little ones that, Jenna's doing a little better with it. She's 11. We've talked about it. So she has a better comprehension of what's going on. But today I really kind of noticed with her, she was getting her patience had run out with her sister quite a bit. So everybody, and even you, like even I had my moment this evening and I cried at the dinner table.
They shut church down for 8 weeks.
And I cried.
What are all these people going to do? Turn or burn? I mean...
What saved always saved. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that's true. I see. That's what happens when you marry a Baptist. So
yeah, it is, baby. So anyway, but again, just it's not the stress. Again, I just want to reiterate, is not from the beginning there, and try to watch your words. Speaking of my children, who know I'm doing this right now.
my boys are drinking moonshine from the jug they found. Well, you know what? That's the great.
I'll be back in just a minute.
Let her come in. She can.
I waved her as she would come.
So that is some things that you can find when you are looking and don't have nothing else to do. So those are some things. But again, as Jody was saying, we need to have grace. We need to stay positive as a parent. If we can stay positive, that goes a long way. And I understand a lot of people are going to be doom and gloom, and that's and fear is a bad. Fear is not good, and
it's contagious.
And it is
so don't
very
spread
contagious.
it to your kids.
So be positive. Think of things that you can do that you are home. We've had some family night, and we played some cards. We played cards. We have. We played some Frisbee today, and just some things that we've done that probably wouldn't have maybe happened if this would have happened, didn't happen. So, I kind of talked about it last week, didn't know it was going to get this bad this week.
We did not know all of this was going to happen.
But, spend time with your families. And yes, it's going to be hard because you are spending a lot of time with people that, you haven't really spent that much time over time. So, it's just a matter of time. It's going to take some adjusting. It's not over. It's probably just starting. And but think positive. Mm-hmm. Don't get negative. Don't get that's one reason why this isn't the reason why we're doing this live right now, but because we actually decided to start this before all this crap started taking off. But just think positive, and that's why we wanted to come on here, is to give some positive and give some hope. And
if you have any questions about how we do things around the house with homeschooling or with being home or Justin, feel free to go ahead and type them in there, and we'll answer them as we go.
And even that, when we first started homeschooling, we had to take 2-3 weeks off before we got into homeschooling, just because she was working, Jenna was in the daycare, or she was just getting done with kindergarten, and it was just all this change was going on. Now we're all at home, and it wasn't very good.
It was very stressful when we first started. Like he said, I resigned from my position at a corporate job. Jenna went from being at preschool all day to being home all day. We had a new baby to adjust to. It was a lot, and I actually ended up at some point sending Jenna away. I sent her to my parents' house for 3 days because we were just fighting constantly, and we needed a break, and things were a lot better after that. And I know that's not possible right now. But there's a word that we hear in the homeschool community a lot, that if you have this liberty. So I know I didn't want to get into a lot of specifics here because I know every school district is doing different things. So some of you have school. I know one family in particular that they have to log on in the morning and they stay on the whole school day and they log off. And then other schools sent work home. Other schools are just off. They're taking an extended spring break. So I don't want to go to a lot of detail about what you can be doing or should be doing. But in the homeschool circles, you hear a word a lot of times called deschooling. And if you can, I would highly recommend you do that for a few days, if not a week. And what that means is basically you're not doing anything planned or routine for a few days to kind of come down off of the school routine and give a break before you start a new one and jump right in. So that's a word we hear a lot in homeschooling, is to take some time to deschool before you start your homeschooling routine. So if you have that liberty, it's something that I would recommend that you do, is just take, even if it's just a few days, take a few days off and just enjoy your kids and see where their interests take them and that sort of thing.
So Cody asked, what curriculum are you all using?
What curriculum do you use?
So we are very super strict, and we only do this, and we don't do.
Not.
No,
So we have done, so this year we are doing 2 homeschool co-ops outside of the outside of the home, which is our school. So yeah. And the homework load, so my little one's in kindergarten, and so quite frankly, I don't worry too much about her just yet. Jenna is in 6th grade. So the homework from those 2 honestly fills up the rest of our week pretty much constantly. Although that has suddenly disappeared. So right now, this week, we've used Abeka primarily through the years. So we are doing Abeka for her mathematics. I really like their traditional curriculum, and they teach it the old school way. And I'm old, so I like it. No, it's a really solid foundation, especially in math and language arts. So she is doing Abeka mathematics. And then last year, if we could do a whole nother video on this, we had planned to be traveling more as a family. So last year we did a 100% online curriculum through Acellus called Power Homeschool. Acellus, you may have heard of them. They're in a lot of public school settings, and it's 100% online. So, oh, yay. So Cody graduated from Abeka. It's a great program. So we're doing Acellus for the rest of our subjects through the rest of this year. But speaking of Abeka, I have decided that next year both of the girls will be doing the Abeka Academy program, which is their video teaching program. And anyway, I already talked about it. We could do a whole thing on a curriculum review at some point. But that's what we're doing right now. And it changed suddenly. I got a little bit of yesterday the girls thought it was great and it was so fun, and they're kind of like, oh, we're kind of glad we're, co-ops were so busy and we never had time at home. And already today, it's Tuesday, and they're like, I don't want to do Acellus. Yeah, so there's a tip, guys. It doesn't matter if your kids are in public school or private school or homeschool, there's a really good chance they're going to complain about school at some point. That's my little lesson I learned. They complain about every curriculum we've done. And so I really don't give a lot of credence to what they say anymore because they complain. No matter what I tell them to do, they complain because it's school. And I make them do their school.
But our Christian school does a Abeka Academy, which is what my kids are currently doing.
Yeah, that's how we got started with Abeka. Like we said, when I quit my job and we were going to homeschool, I was not homeschooled. I was public schooled K through 12, and it was incredibly overwhelming for me. And as I started, we went to a homeschool convention before we'd made our decision, and I was looking at all of these curricula, and I was just like, I need a box. I need something that they will send me a box, and it will tell me what to do. And I had friends that had gone to Christian schools that had done Abeka, and I knew it was a really solid, quality program. So that's how we started with it, and I've been really happy with it. So, but there's a ton of good curriculum.
And Cody, I agree 100%. I think that business-minded kids can go really far. Life skills, I think, are tons of life so important. And even I'm the type of person is if you really like something, learn everything you can. Jenna there when she first got out and we was kind of struggling, she really liked dinosaurs, and so we let her learn everything she could about dinosaurs. And in there for a while, she was big into the bones.
She was 7 years old and memorized
all the bones and all that kind of stuff. And so
we skulls in her room.
So we really,
they're not human. It's all right.
We still pushed that whole program of if she's interested. It's kind of like me. I don't like reading books. I never did like reading books. I hated reading books. Books are stupid. But when I wanted to start,
don't tell your kids that books are stupid.
When I went to learn about pressure washing, I loved it. And I learned everything I could. Then I started learning about marketing. I love it, and I read everything I can about it. Any other book, I can read it. I just took a test on fire department stuff. I know all the stuff there is in that book, but I couldn't tell you. I bombed that test like no other because it just isn't excite me like pressure washing and marketing. If I read a marketing book, I probably got 100% on it. It's just the way it is. So,
all right. So let's bring it back into surviving your family.
Don't kill them.
Be nice. Just be nice. It seems so easy, but when you're on edge and they're on edge and everybody's on edge, it's hard. And I'm not going to sit on here and tell you I don't yell at my kids. I yell at my kids on a pretty regular basis. Sometimes I snap at him.
And I mean, we we got to, I understand that, the jobs you might not, there's going to be
Some
stressors.
uncertainties.
There's going to be stressors in this, that whether you have a job or not a job, there's going to be stressors around that's going to test everything you have in you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and probably test your marriage at sometimes, depending on your situation and whether you have some job uncertainties, maybe somebody gets sick, maybe something's going on with your kids in school, whatever. This is probably going to test some marriages. Yeah, move to California where you're sheltering in place. No thanks.
Well, but if you're like my brother Bill, he's living on the beach, sheltering in place. So I mean, is it really that bad at that point? It's like 70 degrees out there.
It is true. It's not as warm as it is here.
But what's he going to do with all the gyms closed? And now his shower has closed. He's going to have to find a new shower. He's going to have to spend
go in the ocean.
$60 a day or $5 a day versus $1 a day to get his shower now. So,
all right.
So again, if surviving is very important,
in your family. We're not talking viruses. Yes. We're not doctors. We're not going there.
Nope.
We're talking about surviving family.
And so, surviving, that is something that is key. Don't kill each other. If you need to, go outside. The weather's starting to look good. Start taking walks, start taking hikes, go outside and just enjoy the fresh air and see God's beauty. At the end of the day, that's probably, and so maybe start some habits that you haven't done before. If you're a Christian, maybe start reading your Bible. If you are, just start doing, if you want to with your family, maybe take a reading hour, 1 hour you read a day or something.
Do that.
And so just some things that you can do to help you better yourself. Or, this is sometimes that you can actually learn stuff that you maybe didn't know about before, and then that way when this stuff turns around, you'll have knowledge and you'll be able to go out there and kick it even harder at that point. So just those are some things that you can do. Again, please like this page here. We're not done, but I'm just going to give a plug here and go to the YouTube channel. I'll post a link.
That's important.
I'll post a link down in the description. Go to the YouTube and subscribe to our channel there.
So we kind of touched on this earlier, but talking about the fear, like this one would be specific to the COVID-19 and everything that's going on. And I don't remember who brought it up in the comments, but there are a lot of people who are really anxious right now and have a lot of fear, and that's causing some extra stress. So first and foremost, I want to say as a parent, please, please, please try not to spread that to your kids. Try to be a calming and encouraging influence to them. They will get fear and have anxiety on their own. And I know sometimes it's hard. I kicked them out of the room when I needed to cry, because if they see mommy crying, their mental and emotional status is going to go downhill. So just take the time that you need. That is right now is one of my primary jobs, is keeping them calm and being calm around them. With everything else in their world has been completely upended. They don't need mommy panicking and freaking out. So that if you are a parent, I would say that is paramount right now. And don't lie to them. I do not lie to my children. Jen and I, when I tucked her in last night, we sat down and she had some questions and we talked about it, and we talked about plagues, and we talked about how she's learned about some of them in history, and we talked about, in the Bible, and we talked about what that means and how this compares, and just very matter of fact, here's the situation. This is why they're quarantining us. Both of my girls know there's a sickness going on. We don't lie to them. We try to put it on their level, and we do it, and we try to do it in a way that's calm and encouraging to them and builds them up, doesn't tear them down. That being said, if you are somebody who does not, let's say you're not worried at all. You're like, this is stupid. I don't know where they're doing this. Everybody's going to get sick. Da, 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 da. But maybe your spouse or someone else in your house is having a lot of anxiety. Y'all need to give each other grace. Because if you're not worried and you're going to look at your spouse, think, stop being so stupid. Stop buying all the toilet paper. Stop whatever. You still need to treat each other. But the other way is going to be like, why are you being so stupid and not carrying more? And I have seen some of this happen, even on Facebook. I've seen it in the comments where one spouse would post something and then their spouse would in the comments be like, you're being an idiot. don't. Like we said before, this is going to cause some stressors. So again, just give each other a little grace, give each other a little space, and just make sure you're still respecting each other and letting each other process it like you need to process it. That's still my number one message. Just all the time. Just give each other grace, but in this time in particular, just give yourself a break and give everybody around you a break.
And this is probably going to be for a little while. This isn't just going to be done overnight. Next week they're not going to be like, oh, the van's all lifted and you're ready to go. So,
highly unlikely.
It's probably not going to happen.
My personal prediction, again, not a doctor, not an epidemiologist. I can't pronounce that right. I'm not going to say it. You know what I'm talking about. The doctors that study diseases and stuff. But my personal prediction, looking at history and stuff, because that is kind of my thing, is I'm going to say 3 to 6 months, possibly 9 to 12. Depending on how well this social distancing thing kind of works out. So, but I would say we're looking at 3 to 6 months. So hang in there. Hopefully 3. Fingers crossed.
Yep.
Hopefully 2. Hopefully I'm wrong. And next week they say, oh my gosh, we were wrong. Never mind. I don't think it's going to happen.
So if we're at about 20 minutes. We don't really want to go no more than 30 minutes. So if you have any questions about homeschooling, if you have any questions about anything we've talked about, put them down there in the comments and we will answer your questions here. But again, just stay calm. Just be positive. If you're a Christian, read your Bible. That's probably the best thing you can do, especially if you're really fearful. There was things in the Bible that happened. This isn't something new. This isn't something that all of a sudden came around and happened. There was plagues. There was droughts. There was 40 years of stuff a long time. So, if we're only at 3 to 6 months, and it's a lot better than 40 years, think positive. But that was way back when. Yep. Well, guess what?
To those people, it wasn't.
It was the worst thing of their life, and even now, this is.
And we're not saying this might not be bad. Like, I don't want you to say that, but it is. There are things mentioned in the Bible and throughout history, and we can look to that and be calm and know that people came through it and societies came through it, and now people are starting to get worried about a recession or a depression going on. And we can look back in history and we can see that people, for the most part, came through it. Societies came through it. And
yep, we both had grandmas that went through depressions,
Yep.
So.
And God is good.
Yep, and He'll take care of you,
Type all the time in there.
Come
on, Christians. I said God is good.
It might be all the time. It's probably about a 5 to 10 second delay. So. Right. But me and Jody, we love each other. We put up with each other. She puts up with me. I put up with her. So that is good, and that is kind of why we're doing this right now. So please go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to try to at least do this once a week. We might come on every other time, sooner than that, and we're just seeing. What?
Thank you, Bill.
So we're just kind of talking. And if there's anything that you want us to talk about,
pretty much anything.
Just maybe
pretty much. But we'll talk about marriage, kids, homeschooling, businesses, firefighting, disease, history.
We are jack of all trades.
Oh.
So
you're welcome, Alan. So yep. Anything else?
Not that I know of. So again, please go subscribe or like this page here. And then please go subscribe to our channel on YouTube. I will be reposting these on YouTube. So if you miss one, you will be able to see. Last week, we talked about...
we just introduced ourselves.
We just introduced ourselves. I know it's kind of long, but we kind of told our story of how we met, where we, what we've done, and all that kind of thing.
How we got where we are today.
And I'm not saying we do it right. I mean, we struggle, we fail.
Learning on the journey.
Well, I was going to say we break stuff, but we don't really do that. So,
why would we break stuff?
I don't know, because sometimes you get mad and break stuff, but
I do not. That wasn't me.
She also has memory loss sometimes too. So
I would remember breaking stuff.
But again, are we good to get off here?
I guess.
So again, thank you all for watching, and we appreciate everything. And have a good night. Have a good week. And again, pray and get closer to God at this time.
And each other.
And each other.
Bye.